Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt, also known as the king of armor destruction in the armor wizard. Zap. I have a body armor demo for you today. In full transparency, Caliber Armor contacted me and sent me a pair of their steel, yes, steel plates to destroy with no strings attached. These particular models are their AV2 plates, which are rated for the upcoming, I think it's still upcoming, NIJ 07 standards, which introduce protection against very common 5.56 threats such as M193 and M855 and even 7.62x39. We have two different cuts here. We have a swimmer's cut that weighs 7 pounds 5 ounces. It's approximately 478 thousandths thick, or 12.15 millimeters, and 3.31 kilograms. Over here is our standard sappy cut. This weighs 7 pounds 13 ounces, or 3.34 kilograms, and is also 478 thousandths thick. Both of these plates offer very nice, sexy curves. I would say that's very close to a triple curve. We've got a curve here, and another curve there. Very nice. We'll show you the swimmer's cut over here. Nice. Now, if you're a newcomer to the channel, here comes the long-winded speech, and it's good to hear it. I do things completely different than a majority of other YouTubers when it comes to demoing armor. Now, I try to maintain as many NIJ protocols and testing standards out here in the woods that I can, but I'll remind you that I am not an NIJ lab. If you see me stop a threat here, you should go to the manufacturer and ask for actual NIJ accredited lab results to prove that this particular panel could indeed stop that in a lab environment. On the flip side, if you're the manufacturer and you see me stop M855A1 going 2,900 feet per second, you should send that off to the lab and get that added as a special rifle threat to your plate. Now, I do make mistakes out here, and we try to maintain a 2-inch shot pattern dispersion for each shot. Sometimes that happens, other times it doesn't. Sometimes intentionally, I try to place shots very close to each other. Again, I'm out here, I'm doing the best I can. We're always aiming for worst case scenarios, so that's why we always use very long barrel lengths. It's around 85 to 90 degrees outside today. We have a Prochronal Pal Digital DLX that we use to measure the velocity, because we need to know the velocity of these particular bullets. Since this is rifle armor, we shoot at 45 feet. We also shoot at 0 degrees because that represents, again, a worst case scenario. When you add any type of angles into your shot, you actually increase the amount of material that the bullet has to penetrate through. Now, this is steel core body armor, so it doesn't have any ceramic inside of it, so we don't need to drop it on its face 2 times. We use a giant clay briefcase that you see right here filled with Roma Plastilina #1 clay donated by Chavant that acts as our compressible media to put the body armor up against. We need to keep it around 100 degrees to see accurate representation of back face. So for me, it's just a 90+ pound giant block that's going to hold our armor in place for our shots. Typically with steel armor, we don't see localized back face on the clay. It's more of the entire piece of plate gets shoved into the clay as we put more and more hits on it. And finally, we have a spreadsheet that we put here at the beginning that we kind of foreshadow all the threats that we're going to shoot at it, and in the end, we fill out the penetrations and the velocity as long as we get them, and we do a tear down, although this is steel core body armor, so there's not going to be a whole lot to actually see inside of it. We're going to go with a shorter barrel length in our 5.56, and then if it stops it, we'll go up in length. We've got a 20-inch PSA upper with the FN double chrome lined barrel. Got a primary arm scope that we threw up top so we can see where we're shooting. This is our Independence M193. It is known as a full power load. We're looking for in excess of 3250 feet per second. The actual NIJ 07 rating is 3250. So this should be the upper part of the plate. We were 3370, a little fast today. I'll place this one to the right of it. And then this one I'll place all the way down in the corner. Let's go check our plate before we go to anything else. Now we brought out the longest barrel length that we have with us today. This is our 22-inch TC Compass, Mr. Armor Slayer. Turbo 556 up front. Got the primary arms silver line or silver series 4-16 first focal plane scope on here. Have this in an Oryx chassis. I have M855 or SS109 62 grain full metal jacket with a little conical steel penetrating tip. M855 and SS109 are essentially the same round. This is what the Army used to issue, and now we've gone on to M855A1. Now, because I have a limited amount on this plate, I'm going to take 4 shots with this, and then maybe we'll go to a shorter barrel length for M855A1. Typically, in the past, steel armor is always good at stopping this particular round. It's M193 that we have a problem with. Let's see here. So I'm going to put this one in the upper right-hand corner. Then I'm going to put this on the second line. Need to check my scope offsets on that. I had that dialed in and for some reason it's off now. But on our 20-inch M193 shots number 1, 2, and 3, you can tell our coating isn't doing so hot. Now our M855 shots number 1, I want to be up there. Need to check my offsets. 2, 3, and 4. Place those bets in the comments below. Hey, no way, no pass through. Even the shot down here that's like an inch from the edge, you can peel the cover off. Look at that. There is a little bit of a thing there, but no pass-throughs. Let's check our M855A1 and then maybe go up to the 22-inch with M193. All right, let's see what M855A1 can do. This is the Enhanced Performance Round, or EPR. This is current issue in U.S. military all the way down to basic now. It has a much larger and harder arrowhead steel penetrating tip and a copper core. We'll take 2 shots of this from our 16-inch right here. This is a Springfield Hellion or Croatian VHS2 bullpup. Got the Turbo 556 on there. Not sure what my offsets are going to be, so allow me some patience. Nice. We brought the 20-inch back out for our M855A1 shots. We'll go check after this and then maybe step up to the 22 for our M193. If you've watched any of my steel armor videos in the past, you know it's extremely hard for me to actually see sometimes where I've placed hits on these panels because this coating makes very small entrance holes. Our 16-inch M855A1 shots number 1 and 2 right there, those are definitely fair hits. Our 20-inch shot was right there. Place those bets in the comments below. Hey, no pass through on the 16 inches, but look, we cracked our plate and our 20-inch penetrated. Now, steel is really good at soaking up hits. I'm gonna do the 22-inch with the M193, and we're gonna put a 3A backer behind it. But this plate, at least for our 5.56 threats, is very impressive. Normally in the past, our 16-inch or under 16 inches is the limit for that A1. We brought the 22-inch back out for 3 more hits of M193. As mentioned, I have a aramid fiber 3A backer behind it. I apologize about any of the edits I may have to make because I can't see the shots. I will have to go down and check each one. This one should be in the upper part of the plate. I'm not sure if that was an error or if that read or not, but those are very impressive velocities. Our shots of our full power M193 from the 22-inch, number 1, 2, and 3. Those are all considered fair hits. Place those bets in the comments below. No freaking way, folks. Now, shot number 3 down here, we did plug it, and you can see a crack here. We've further cracked the rest of this plate, but that is the only penetration right there, well above the new NIJ 07 spec. And because of the 3A backer behind it, that plug didn't go anywhere. Now in the NIJ's eyes, they would consider that a penetration because it plugged the back side of it. But very, very impressive. I said in my last steel video, I wasn't aware of anybody rating their level 3 plates with a V50 rating as high as what we've been able to achieve out of our Savage Access 110 Tactical here with the 24-inch barrel and our Phantom M2 fresh back from Yankee Hill. But Caliber Armor has some of their specs sheets indicate stopping M80 ball in excess of 2,900 feet per second. So we have some Winchester or Lake City surplus M80 ball here. This is a 149 grain full metal jacket going at least 2790 feet per second out of a 22-inch. Again, we see a lot more out of this gun. We've got a Crimson Trace Hardline Pro up top. Have the M Carbo flat face trigger in here. Very nice trigger, I might add. We're gonna place these 6 shots on plate number 1. Now, as far as the fragmentation mitigation coating goes, that is a fresh table down there. Thank you, my Patreon supporters, for helping me purchase that. With this type of polyurea or truck bed liner coating, I've seen 2 to 3 shots of M80 balls stopped with no fragmentation coming out of the sides of the plate. But then after that, the amount of energy displaced wreaks havoc on it. So we'll see what we get. So this should be on the right side or left side of the plate. (3,000 feet per second). Very nice. Now the downside to some of these truck bed or these polyurea coatings is I can't see my shots. We'll place this one on the extreme right. She's smoking down there, folks. Let's go up top. You know that part in the intro where I say sometimes I make mistakes or I'm a little overzealous about worst case scenario? I think this is one of those times. Some of this steel to be able to stop M193 gets really hard in terms of like an AR number, usually like 600 plus, sometimes 700. and it becomes brittle to energy. Shots number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that's when I stopped. Sounds like I dropped something and broke it in the box there, folks. Place those bets in the comments below. Although you can probably guess that's why I stopped the shots. R.A.N.G.E. We have some penetrations and destruction of our plate going on here. Now it looks like we stopped shots number 1 and number 2, but 3, 4, and 5 actually penetrated. We'll double check here in a second, but wow, that is a lot of energy for this plate to stop, and I probably should have brought the 22-inch instead. To quote the great Ian Malcolm, life will find a way, and I certainly found a way to destroy this steel plate. I think I was a little overzealous with our M80 ball. I need to remember to bring the 22-inch out, and when I have a limited amount of plates, start with that versus going straight to the 24-inch for our testing. But this plate stopped 2 rounds of M80 ball at almost 3,000 feet per second. That is the absolute worst case scenario. That's approaching a 300 Win Mag shot at a distance. As far as our 5.56 threats go, we stopped M193 at and above the new proposed NIJ 07 RF2 standards, although I don't know at what point they're going to finally publish those standards. I think a lot of the industry's been waiting, and a lot of places have been waiting to certify their plates, because if they certify them under the 06 standard, when they drop the 07, they will have to recertify. We even stopped M855A1 out of our 16-inch barrel, but the 20-inch was a little too much for it. But again, that's all worst case scenario. In reality, a lot of people carry 16-inch and or shorter 5.56 guns, and you add a little bit of distance to there, and the velocity of these rounds is going to drop off. One cause for concern that I have with all steel plates that are coated with our polyurea or truck bed style lining is that there seems to still always be a weak point with those systems. I almost think companies would be better off wrapping 2 to 3 or 4 layers of Kevlar or aramid around the entire plate, and then putting a thinner amount of this coating on it, or just doing a 500D Cordura wrap on it or something, because the truck bed style coating seems to always give out to fragmentation depending on how many rounds you take on there. And what usually happens is it always spreads out to the side. Now you do have a carrier and other parts on the outside of there that may help contain some of that, but I personally feel some of our steel offerings could do a better job at addressing our fragmentation concerns. With all that being said, it's time for me to get the heck out of here, but at the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who help make these possible, because there's a lot that goes into them. Number 1 is my Patreon and subscribe to our fans. I have a link tree in the description below, like various other content creators. Essentially, there's links to Facebook or Instagram if you want to follow me there. I post pictures and different things there. I have the links to our Patreon and subscribe star if you'd like to support me. I also have affiliate links or discount codes that essentially earn me a sales commission. Some of the testing equipment that we have here gets very expensive, as well as some of the ammunition. So a lot of this, it just goes right back in the channel for buying supplies. Number 2 is Caliber Armor, again in full transparency, provided us a pair of their AV2 plates to destroy with no strings attached. And of course, number 3 is you all for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you at the range.